Welcome to Sports Talk with Jenilee. My name is Jenilee Borick, and today I'm going to talk about the Chicago White Sox. Now, if you don't know me, I am from Chicago originally, and I am a White Sox fan. Yesterday, the White Sox lost a game that was very winnable against the Colorado Rockies, and a lot of White Sox fans were frustrated. Part of the reason they were frustrated was because of one particular play. White Sox fans were going off on Twitter about this play, and you can Google it and watch it. I'll just give you the basics of it. So Leury Garcia was on third base, Sebi Zavala was on second, and first base was open. Moncada was up to bat. Moncada worked a walk, so bases should be loaded. The White Sox had 2 outs at this point. However, Leury Garcia prematurely left third base, and the Rockies catcher threw him out at third for the last out. Absolutely ridiculous, right? I don't believe I've ever seen that play before. People on Twitter were saying, where in the heck was he going? Now, I'm not going to go on and on about this particular game. I'm going to step back and look at the White Sox right now from a larger scope. This is not one of the first mistakes that we've seen this season that just makes you scratch your head and say, what in the world is this team doing? They've had a ton of base running mistakes and, quite frankly, a lot of mental mistakes. To me, this points out that the coaching staff is not emphasizing baseball fundamentals. Sometimes it looks like the team is out there on the field and it's a free-for-all. And it really comes down to just how the coaching staff is. And Tony, in my opinion, is not the guy that should be managing this team. I think that he's not engaged. I don't really know the ins and outs of what is going on with this team, but they look very different than they've looked the past couple years, with the fact that they're less engaged and they're making mistakes that at this level you shouldn't be making, or you should be rarely making, and they seem to be making them all the time. Another problem is that they have opportunities with runners in scoring position or bases loaded, and they are missing these opportunities. Again, I don't know if it's a lack of focus, but this team has a ton of talent on its roster. Yes, they have been very, very injured this year. They were also quite injured last season. And, I get it. It's hard to always constantly be working around injuries. It seemed like earlier this season we would get one guy back and then 2 more guys would go down. However, now we do have a lot of our guys back, except for in pitching. We're still struggling in the bullpen with having pitchers injured, but a lot of our hitters are back. And again, they're just missing these opportunities. So I'm not sure if it's a lack of focus, but I do think that this is something the coaching staff needs to be latching onto. And Tony needs to be seeing these things, and he needs to be making the players aware in practice of what they need to be doing better, how they need to be doing it better. And last year, I did not see this lack of attention to detail from this team that I'm seeing this year. Honestly, a lot of times the players don't even look like they want to be at the game. They'll go through a few games that they may win a few in a row. The energy looks like it's really picking up. They look like they're having fun. And then it just kind of falls off. You'll watch a couple great games and then you'll see 1 or 2 or 3 in a row that it's like, do the players even want to be there? Do the coaches want to be there? Because it really seems like they don't want to be playing. And, these guys make millions and millions of dollars to do what they love. I mean, how many people in the world, 1, make millions of dollars, not that many, and 2, make it doing what you love? So it's very frustrating as a fan to watch them out there when they just look like they could really care less and they'd rather be somewhere else. Even Tim Anderson at times, and he is the hype man. He's the leader. He is the guy that always comes with energy and passion. And I've even seen him look like he doesn't want to be there, or like something's going on with the vibe of the team that is not good or is negative. And, if you're one of the only guys that's picking up the energy and everyone else is just sluggish, it's hard to do that day in and day out. So I'm not pointing Tim out as the only guy that this is happening with. It's not. I'm saying when you have a guy that usually brings the energy and looks really happy, and even he doesn't look happy, something is going on with the vibe of this team. So I don't really know what's going to happen with the rest of the season. They're at 500, they're 49-49. It was a climb for them to even get to 500. They finally got a game over 500. Now they're back at 500. But they're only 3 games out of first place in their division, and they're only 3.5 games out of the 3rd wild card spot. This team, if they can turn it on, they can easily make the postseason. And I'm not saying they'll go far in the postseason. However, the fact that they've been to the postseason the last 2 years, you would like to see them go again and maybe get a little bit further. So they are in it if they can just lock in and fix whatever is going on, maybe in the clubhouse, or I don't know, if there's a problem between players. I think they're a pretty close group, so I wouldn't guess that it's really between the players. Maybe it's more some of the coaches. But if they can really lock in, this team's talent is enormous. And they could make the playoffs and at least make a little bit of a run and maybe get a little bit further. I believe with the talent on this team, they are in a window and within the next 5 years, I would say. But if they can't turn around their attitude, if they keep making these mental mistakes and mistakes that they really shouldn't be making, they're not going to do that much. I think these next 3 series are going to tell us truly if the Sox really have a chance at the postseason. They play 3 versus Oakland at home. They're last in their division. Then they play 3 versus Kansas City at home. Of course, Kansas City is last in our division. And then they play 4 versus Texas on the road. And Texas isn't last in their division, but they're still below 500. Now, they do have a couple more series after that. They go back to Kansas City. Then they play Detroit. Those should be easier series. But I think within these next 3 series, we are really going to know if the White Sox are going to make the postseason. And half of it just needs to be that they need to pick up the energy and actually act like they're in this thing, because they are. Part of the thing, I wanted to look up some stats just because I was curious. I didn't know exactly where they fell. I knew around where they fell. But this is interesting to me, is that this team is 3rd in hits right now in the league. So you would think 3rd in hits, they're probably scoring a lot of runs. No, they're not. And that they are 17th in RBIs and 24th in home runs. Everyone knows that the long ball has been a struggle for them this year. Again, I don't really know the exact reason why, but maybe it's just the mentality that they are batting with. Half the time they look like they're going up there and they're trying to hit home runs instead of focusing on making contact. I personally believe that if you focus on making contact, the home runs will come because these guys have the strength and power to hit them. But if you're just trying to hit a home run every time you go up to bat, you're probably going to strike out. And it seems like that's what they're doing. But there's no reason that this team should be 3rd in hits and 17th in RBIs and 24th in home runs. And the other thing is that they are last in walks. This Sox team was getting walks last year. They were really patient at the plate, and we are clearly seeing that they do not have that same patience this year. Again, maybe it's a mental approach to how they're going up, when they're batting. But those are some of the things I wanted to throw out and give a more overall perspective of what I think is going on with the Chicago White Sox this season and what I think they need to fix. Thank you guys for listening to me. Follow me on social media at allthingsjenilee is my Instagram handle. allthingsjenilee.com is my website. So keep it locked in. I'm going to try to make more of these audios for you because I don't really have enough time to do the videos like I used to. I'll try to get those in a couple times, but hopefully I can put out some more episodes for you guys.